guys. My name is Ashley Pearson. Yeah, I feel like I black out at Rub Club, but the thing is I will overshare. So.
Okay, perfect.
Like in your 20s, like, this is the time to grind. Like, Ash, do you want to be an engineer? And I was like, heck no. And then I was like, Joe, I'm going to start a run club. Just the running community, like, saved my life. And
All right, awesome. Well, welcome to the 20-something podcast. We love oversharers. I'll kind of have you introduce yourself to the listeners and give your little elevator pitch.
Okay. Hi, guys. My name is Ashley Pearson. I am 26. Just turned 26 like a month ago. It's been great. It's been expensive. Oh, my God. When you hit 26, you don't have insurance, anything like that.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
that's right.
But it's been super fun. Yeah, I'm in my mid-20s, which is, I'm over my mid-20s, which is crazy to think about. But I am a realtor in Greenville. People do think Run Club is my main job. That is not my main job. No. I am a realtor. I work for Blackstream Christie's International.
Okay.
And I'm on a team with Tom Marchant, Kendall Bateman, Haley Miller, and Carly Riggs. And then I also work for the development side of the McLaren apartment complex. So if you need a tour, I will tour you around and hopefully sell you an apartment. And so I'm in that position until we are fully leased up, which has really been really cool. I've been doing that for the last year as well. So I feel like I work 3 jobs.
Yeah, you do.
But yeah, it's so fun. I love Greenville. I'm from Greenville.
Okay.
I'm from Powdersville, Easley area, but I feel like I'm from Greenville.
Yeah.
So moved down here. I went to school. I was actually an engineer before I did real estate. I know.
Really? Okay, we're gonna have to get into that.
Very different than what I do. I know. It's so crazy. And then during 2020, I live by myself now, but my roommate at the time, we moved downtown and yeah, I love it. I love Greenville so much. It's amazing.
Okay.
That's kind of a little bit about me.
That's so exciting. I love Greenville too. It was my 1-year anniversary yesterday.
Oh my God, where are you from?
Wisconsin.
I can hear it.
Yeah, most people can. Okay, so where'd you go to college?
So my first years, I went to Anderson University.
Okay.
And then I did a semester at Clemson.
Okay.
And then I had my gallbladder removed when I was at Clemson.
Oh.
So I withdrew. And then I knew a girl when I was in college. Ever since I was little, I hated coffee. I was like, coffee's literally disgusting. Like, what the heck? I knew nothing about it. And then when I withdrew from Clemson, a girl I knew worked at Starbucks and they paid for your tuition at Arizona State. And I was like, I literally don't know what a drip coffee is. Like, what do you mean? Like, I cannot do this. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take a leap of faith and do it. So when I moved downtown, I worked at a Starbucks on Main Street and did my last years of school there.
Okay.
I actually had like a semester, probably a year left of school, so I didn't finish.
Okay.
So I did 4 years of engineering. And when I was working at Starbucks, one of my regulars owns Caldwell Banker, and he was like, Ash, do you want to be an engineer? And I was like, heck no. Like, I've been doing this for 4 years, and like, I didn't pick an easy major.
Yeah, no.
Like, I thought I loved it. And he was like, you should be a realtor. Like, I think you'd be great at it. And I was like, okay. He was like, you should take a break from school. And if you hate real estate, like, go back and finish your degree.
Fair enough.
And I was like, all right, fine. This is the only time in my life that I can, like, I don't have any responsibility. So major responsibility, like I don't have a family or anything like that. And so I was like, you know, I want to do it. And so I left and got my real estate license. Didn't even work for this person. I worked for a smaller firm. And then, now I'm on a team and I love it.
Okay.
I could not imagine myself being an engineer.
That's amazing. That's so crazy because I graduated from ASU at Starbucks.
Shut up.
I'm not kidding.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
People think, they're like, oh, ASU, you're so wild. I'm like, y'all online.
Yeah.
Chill.
Every time I'm like, I graduated from ASU, they're like, how'd you get to Wisconsin to Arizona to, I'm like, no, online.
No way.
Yeah. I was a COVID graduate, like COVID victim in college. And so I took a semester off, and then I had worked at Starbucks in high school, so I knew about it. So I went back to work at Starbucks and finished my degree
at
ASU online.
I'm obsessed with coffee now.
Yeah,
like
same.
literally, I can't survive without it.
Yeah.
And two, I'm like just the working. I want to own a coffee shop one day, and working in a coffee shop, like it's my favorite thing in the world. Even last week with the storm, so many people were like posting, like, need a barista. I'm like, please let me come. And,
Right.
like, I want to serve a cup of coffee. Like, you don't have to pay me. Like, I'll pay you.
Yes.
Like, just let me come and work.
No, for real. My roommate also worked at Starbucks, and we were talking the other day about it. I was like, I wonder if I got back there if I would still remember how to do it, because it was so fun making coffee.
So much fun.
So much fun. I think local though, like sometimes Starbucks, I was like, okay,
Yeah, Starbucks is
not super
disgusting.
fun. But a local coffee shop would be so fun to work at.
Have you ever worked at a local coffee shop?
I worked at Starbucks for 4 years, and then I was like, I will never make a cup of coffee again. But now that I'm removed from it, I would.
Oh my God. I worked at Starbucks, and then I worked basically everywhere downtown, that's for sure.
Really?
Yes. If someone asks if I want a job, if I'm anywhere interested in it, I'm like, sure. When I'm like, my friend works at Body Bar, and we were doing Pilates the other day, and she was like, I think they need another front desk person. I was like, literally stop. I was like, don't offer that to me. I was like, I have no room for that. But I worked at Old Europe too. When I got my real estate license, it obviously is very slow at first.
Yeah.
And I knew the owner of Old Europe, loved Bobby, and he's like, you want to come serve coffee like once or twice a week? And I was like, sure. I worked Monday through Friday. So I worked 5 days.
Okay.
But it was so fun. I loved it. I like bawled my eyes out on my last day of serving coffee.
Oh,
so
sad.
I know. I was like, Ashley, it's okay.
I was going to ask you that though, like what you did while starting out in real estate, because I know a lot of people have to do kind of both until they get established.
Yeah. So I was a full-time engineering student.
Yep.
When I was working at Starbucks, I would work 5 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Okay.
Or 5 a.m. to 12.
Okay.
And then I would do school, and then I worked up on the roof.
Oh, nice.
So I would work at night. So I was a full-time engineering student and worked 2 jobs. It was so insane. But I feel like, and going back to your podcast, I feel like in your 20s, like this is the time to grind. This is the time to
absolutely
do it. But I met so many incredible people. And then when I stopped Starbucks and I got my real estate license, I was I working up on there for that time? I don't know. So my older roommate, Jade, she and I have been friends since like 3rd grade, and we have known the owners of Coral since we were like in high school.
Yeah.
And so when Coral was about to open up, they asked us to come help open the bar with them. And so she was working at Halls, I was working at Up on the Roof. So we both left those jobs and worked at Coral for like 6 months. And so I worked there at night, and then I worked at Old Europe in the morning, and then in between I would like do real estate stuff. So still circuit. I was still working like 3 jobs. I've been working 3 jobs for a while.
Yeah.
And so that was that. And I stopped Coral. I'm alive for the party, but I'm asleep by 9.
Oh, same.
I'm a morning person.
Yeah.
In.
I'm tucked in at 8:30. Like,
yeah.
Lights out. Don't talk to me.
Yeah. I'm exhausted. But I stopped working at Coral. Loved it. It was so fun. But I was just like overworking nighttime.
Yeah.
And so I just worked at Old Europe. So yeah, my regulars were so generous and so kind, and it was amazing. I met the most incredible people, clients from there.
Yeah.
My first listing I got from a regular at Old Europe, which was super sweet.
That's amazing.
And so did that, and then I was doing real estate, and then I met the owners of the McLaren where I like help work as well. When I was at Starbucks, they were my regulars.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And so it's just crazy. Like you never know who you come into contact with.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I actually ran into them one day, and I was needing a place to live. My roommate was moving in with her boyfriend. I was like, all right, it's time for me to live by myself. Like I can do it. I can figure it out. And so I was like, I want to live here, and came and toured, fell in love with it, and they offered me a position. But so yeah, I mean, I've met so many clients from that. It's just, to me, it's all about who you know.
It is. It truly is.
Yeah, and you just like never know who you meet, which is so fun.
I know, especially at this age, like moving here, that was a big thing for me. I didn't know anybody. I just kind of up and moved.
What brought you to Greenville?
Super long story, but I had been here like twice before. I worked remotely for a small gym over in like Lexington, Columbia area. And
Not Move Fitness, right?
No.
Like the Columbia people will know.
No. They're in Batesburg.
Okay.
And I was like, I love you so much. I'm not moving to Batesburg. So I drove up to Greenville one time when I was down here. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm moving here. I'm done with Wisconsin winters. I've lived here my whole life. It's time to like try something new. And so my lease was up and I was like, well, now's the time. Like you said, I don't have a family to provide for. I don't have any. Yeah, it's just me. So might as well give it a shot. And when I moved here, I worked at Foxcroft right away.
Oh my God, the donuts.
Yeah.
They're so good.
Yeah. Cause I work remotely, but I was like, I don't want to meet people and get out there. And like you said, it's so crazy how many people you meet just kind of being out in the community and like the connections you make. And this community is so great.
I know.
They're the people I've met. It's insane. It's crazy.
Wait, that's so sweet. What do you do?
I'm a personal trainer, nutritionist.
Train me. Please. Please.
Hit me up.
Please. I'm like, wow, I've been actually looking for one.
Let me know. I got you.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So, now you are full-time real estate?
Yeah.
Okay. And how has that been?
So good. It's challenging. I mean,
Yeah.
it's working for your self-employment is hard.
Oh yeah.
Just because and I think real estate too, like I love being on a team. It's the most amazing thing. I love working for the McLaren and like being a part of that team and just like, it's been cool. But what I was like so nervous of getting into real estate so young is I got in at such a crazy time when the market things were like they were not even being listed and they were already selling. Like it was insane. And so I remember everyone telling me like, oh my God, you're getting into it at a great time. And I was like, what do you mean? How am I supposed to convince someone that they should trust me who literally has been doing this for a week versus someone who's been doing it for like 19 years?
Right.
And so that was like the hardest part. And I just like, I think I just had to like learn my niche of like, okay, like, yes, like I'm young, but like I offer so much that like someone who's done it for 30 years are just like, they're used to their ways, which is incredible. They're incredible at their job, but I try to like be confident in that. And so, yeah, it's been great. Last year, oh my God, was so fun. The beginning of the year was super slow. And then 25 was like such a weird year. I remember like when I turned 26, I was like, I love 25, but also I will never miss you. So
Really?
Yes.
Okay. How come?
I think I love change. Like I love a routine, but I also love change.
That's such a weird thing to say. I feel like nobody says that.
I know. And like, I love change and I'm not afraid of it. And so
that's awesome.
I used to be, but not anymore. But yeah, so so much happened in 25. Like I lived by myself for the first time. Like I stopped working at a coffee shop. Like I started working for like a development team. I started working for a team. Just like my finances changed. Like just so much changed. Like I started Run Club when I was 25. Like I trained for a marathon. Like there was just like so much that like happened that I was like, what the heck? And it was like, it felt like nothing was consistent in my life.
Right.
And for the first time I was like, this is so much fun, but I think this might take me under. And so, oh my God. But I survived. So.
That should be like the motto of your 20s. This is so much fun, but I might break.
Yes. And I did so many times. But yeah, it taught me so much. But yeah, 25 was fun.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. And so there were so many times I was like, oh, yeah. Like I remember September through December, I was like, I just moved in to my apartment. So like, my apartment had like a couch, I think. And had nothing. I was like in the peak of my training for a marathon. I was like the busiest I've ever been with real estate. I was like slam packed with the McLaren. And I like traveled 3 places. Like, why did I think I could fit all that in? I remember like getting done and I was like, oh my gosh, Ashley, like you just never ever do that again. I was so sick. I was like, what did I just do? So, but it was,
Yeah. I think everybody has that like year or two in their 20s. Like mine was 23 and 24 and I'm almost 25. And just like last week, I was like, what the hell just happened? Like, I don't know what that was, but I'm going to keep going this way, you know?
Yeah.
But so many people I talk to in their 20s have that, whether it's like right after graduating college or kind of getting settled into their career, depending on the path you go down. Whereas like I graduated and I was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't understand what the point is anymore. And it's so chaotic, which is why I started this. Cause I was like, nobody told me that this was supposed to feel like this.
And your 20s are so weird. I mean, like I am 26, but like half of my friends are married and have kids.
Yeah.
And then half of them are like, what am I doing? And then some of them are like kind of figuring it out. Some of them aren't. And it's just like, you just don't know. Like, but I think my parents, like when I was like switching from engineering to real estate and everything, they're like, Ash, like do it. My mom like changed her career when she was married and had 2 kids. And she's like, awesome. That was hard, but she's like, do it now. Go travel the world. I met this like older couple at Starbucks, and they're phenomenal human beings. I talk to them every single day. Like they're awesome. They live half the year in Michigan, half the year in Greenville. And but his name's Doug and Jackie, and Doug tells me all the time, he's like, you can work later. Like you can make a lot of money later. You can make no money later. Like there's so many things, but like now, like go see the world, like go like figure out like who you are, like go to counseling. I don't know, like prepare yourself. And like one of my girlfriends who's 31, we were asking her one day, like at someone's birthday, we're like, what is any advice you could give? And everyone was like, what you do in your 20s, especially like your late 20s, will follow you into your 30s, your 40s, your 50s. And so like start making those habits where it's like, okay, like who do I want to be when I'm 30? And like I'm gonna start like implementing that in my late 20s because it will follow you to the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
Like I don't want to get to 30 and be like, oh my God, who am I?
Yeah,
like shit. So, literally. So I think just like figuring that out, but yeah, I mean, it also can be like so scary too.
Oh yeah.
So scary.
Oh yeah. I'm terrified. I don't want to be 25 yet, but also I don't want to be 24 anymore. It's such a weird like balance. I'm like, I'm sick of this.
Yeah. 24 was my favorite year.
Really?
Amazing.
Okay.
So
is that when all like the switches happened, or were you just?
No. So I mean, back up a little bit.
Yeah.
So, I went to counseling when I dated a guy, amazing human being. When I was like 21 and a half, almost 22, I think. Going into like right before 23. And so I did him for like a year. Amazing human being. But I remember when we broke up, he was like, I don't want to do this, but like, I think this is best for you. And I was like, what? Like, I don't even know like what I like to eat without you. Like I knew nothing about myself. And I was like, oh my God, like the idea of me walking and getting coffee in the morning by myself, I would have never done that ever. And so I was just like in such a low place. I was so depressed. I was like sad. I was anxious. And one of my friends had went to this counselor. She's the most amazing person ever. And I'd been to counseling growing up and I hated it. Yeah. And I was like, I was like, I don't want to do this. But if I'm going to do this, like, I'm going to go all in. Like, I'm going to not lie to my counselor. And like, be honest. And like, actually like take her advice. And so my sweet couple from Michigan were like, hey, we want to help you with this because counseling's so expensive. Oh, God, and she makes you commit weekly for 6 months minimum.
Oh, 6 months.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to do it. Like this girl, I knew a couple of people I knew that had gone through her, like changed their life. I was like, I'm going to do it. And so I did that all of 23, basically for like a year. Yeah. And I remember I was like, 23 was like my hardest year, but I knew I'm a believer. And I was like, I'm going to see the fruit of this at 24. And I just like, I remember waking up on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day on whatever year that was. Lord, I don't know what year we are now. So whatever, a couple years ago. And I remember like crying, but like telling my friends, my girlfriends, I was like, this is going to be the sweetest year for me. Yeah. And so I was like, God's going to take me places emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, and like, it's going to be awesome. And the people I met, like, just like loving who I was for the first time and like having a confidence in myself of like, no, like I can do it. Like I love people so much and like asking God to like give me a capacity for people and like really like put people in my life that like I never thought I'd be friends with.
Yeah.
And so now it's like I want to apologize to that boy every single time I see him of like, I'm so sorry for who I was. But also thank you because now like I like don't know who that girl is anymore. And so yeah, I think like that's a main thing in your 20s too. Like figure yourself out.
Oh,
like
God,
don't be in such a rush to get married and take your time. Like you'll always have time to get married. You'll always have time to have a family. But yeah, just spend your 20s like with yourself. Like go and get a cup of coffee. Like go to dinner by yourself. Like go travel the world by yourself. And just like really be like secure and confident in that. So that's like my biggest, I'm so glad I've done that.
Yeah. And like make it exciting too.
So exciting.
You know, I went through like very similar thing. I was in a long-term relationship, like 5 years.
Oh my God.
Right. Before I moved here. And same thing, like amazing human being, would do anything for him. But we just, you know, we had different ideas of life. We were together from 18 to 23. Like we were just kids. We didn't know.
Yeah.
And like the first 6 months to a year after that, I was just kind of like in a daze, like scrambling. And then after I was like, well, you know, now it's kind of time to figure out who you are outside of that and kind of grow in that, but make it exciting, you know, because at first it can be kind of daunting and it's like, shit, you know, you feel kind of like grieving like the person you were in that relationship.
Oh, yeah.
I've talked to so many people that have gone through that too. And they're like, I was so lost because I thought like I had to be married by this age and like this was my plan. And now I'm starting over. I'm like, yeah, but that like, that's so cool.
So
you know,
cool.
You get to figure out who you are now on your own terms. And then like, I believe that attracts the person you're supposed to be with.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you dating anyone now?
No. Are you?
No.
No, I've had some people on to like talk about dating in your 20s because I was like, I don't know. I don't know what that's like. I don't like, well, you could get on the dating apps. You could do this. I'm like,
no. You're going to find someone here.
Yeah.
But I mean, it could be here, it could be not be here.
Right.
So,
and it'll come.
It's
supposed to.
Exactly.
Too. Yeah. 100%. So let's talk about Run Club.
Okay.
Take me through the timeline.
I love it. I literally love it so much. It makes me want to cry. But I started it in 2023. Mm-hmm. We're in 2024, right?
Yes.
Okay, Lord. I'm like, what year is it?
Almost 2025.
Which is literally insane.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Like, what did I do this year?
I couldn't tell you what I did.
Like, what? This year's a blur. Mm-hmm. Anyways, yeah, so I started in 2023. And when I was working at Old Europe, I was like, on the hump of like middle of counseling, not depressed anymore, like figuring my life out, was like figuring who I was. And this older guy there, his name's Joe White. Joe, if you're listening, I love you. Thank you. He's like, I'm not even gonna guess his age because I'll probably get it wrong and then I'll feel bad. But older gentleman. And he was like, Ash, you're gonna run a half marathon this year. And I was like, you've literally lost your mind. And he said, you've always talked about it, but like, you're gonna do it. And honestly, and I think this goes back to like just prioritize yourself in your 20s because I never trained for a half marathon because I spent it with a boy. And it was like, you got to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined.
Yeah.
And so he like started training me for that. And I remember the first day I showed up to like run with him, had my AirPods in. He was like, what are you doing? And I was like, Joe, what do you mean? He's like, take this out. We're talking. I was like, oh my God, I'm literally going to like I'm not going to be able to breathe. And he's like, you'll know you're a good runner when you can run and talk. And I was like, okay. And so he like taught me how to like train. And then I was like, Joe, I'm going to start a run club. And he was like, okay. So that was in 2022 that I ran a half marathon. And then going into 2023, I signed up for another half marathon with one of my friends. Did not train for it. I like traveled. Literally during this half marathon, I went to Uber home. I was like, what did I do? Like, why did I do this? Like, this is horrible. And so after that, I was like, okay, I want to run another race, but I need to train. And so I was training for a marathon last year, but I was like kind of bored of running. And I also like feel like I got to a place where I was like, I love people so much, but I'm spending every single day with them. And I still am like having to tell people no, like, no, I can't. Like my schedule's full. I'm so sorry. Maybe next week or the week after that. And that just like literally killed me. And so I was like, God, give me a bigger capacity for people. Like I don't know what that looks like, but bigger capacity. And I was like, I'm going to start Run Club. Like I'm going to have one day of the week where if it's 5 strangers that come, like amazing. I get to hang out with 5 new people, meet them. And I get to look forward to that every Monday. Yeah. And so started it. My friend, Christy Vogel, hates running and came for moral support because she's amazing. Showed up with me my first day and it was me, her, and this random person. And we like ran great. And then it like started to like build up and it was so much fun. Met some of my like best friends out of it. But we got to like probably, I think one day there was like 15 people. I was like, this is literally insane. Like I've created an empire. And so little did I know. Right. And so ran my marathon. And then it was getting dark at this point, and I was like, there's literally like 5 of us. Like if we get lost in this trail and someone gets stolen, like, oh my God, I couldn't do it. Oh yeah. So I was so nervous. And so I was like, we're going to pause it for the winter. And also this girl that had started Run Club, she at the beginning couldn't run a mile. And at the end she could run all 3 without stopping. And I was like, if this is why I did it, it's for you. God. And because I hate running 3 miles. That's like the worst distance. Oh yeah. And I hate running at 7 p.m. Yep. I'd rather run at 5 a.m. Yeah, same. And I'd rather run like 8 miles. Yeah. Or I'm not running. So the only thing I love about it is the people. Yeah. And so yeah, that was, so we put it on a pause. And then I opened it back up in probably like end of February this year. Again, like there was like 5 people, 10 people, and it just like kept growing. And Jake, how I met him, one of my best friends, I love him, Jake. I like FaceTimed him on the way here. I was like, hey, I'm going to this podcast in case I talk about Run Club. He was like, what? So, can't wait to share him this. But yeah, so he lives at the McLaren. Me like giving away all of Jake's like personal information. And, like he is from Michigan. He lives in McLaren.
And his email and his address.
But he was a virtual tour of mine. So that's how I met him. Okay. And then he moved in and he became like one of my best friends. But my first day back at Run Club, he was on the trail and he was running and he was like, Ash, like, what is this? I was like, Jake, like, come and join my Run Club. And he was like, what? And so he joined in and then he was so loyal and he like texted me one day. He's like, hey, do you ever need help with this? And I was like, Jake, if you don't mean that, like, don't ask. And he was like, no, I'm being serious. I was like, please. And so now I like brought him on and thank God because I could not do without him. But yeah, it just like kind of randomly grew out of literally nowhere. Yeah. I mean, one day we had like 60 people and I was like, what? And then the next day it was like 120 and then it was like 200 and then it was like 300 and then it was like 500. I was like, oh my God, I don't even know how to facilitate all these people. Like, and then the people look at me and they're like, what do I do? I'm like, I don't know. They're like, this is your club. And I'm like, ask Jake. I don't know. But yeah, I made this like stupid reel and it went viral. It's honestly the most boring reel I've ever made. And it went viral. And I was like, what the heck? And then, yeah, we like got a videographer and photographer that like reached out to us and oh my God, I could not do it without them. I told them the other day, I was like laughing with them. I said, guys, I was like walking home from Run Club and I was like, the idea of me having to make a reel right now, no. Like it gave me, I was like, I would literally throw my phone into the lake. Like I couldn't be able to do it. And so it's just so cool of like letting go of control and like, hey, like I trust you. Like I need Jake, I need you to help me with this. Like Josh, like you're the most amazing videographer I've ever met. Like I need you to help me.
Fantastic.
Caleb, oh my gosh, great. Literally don't even know how to turn a camera on. Like, please, like I need you. And so it's been cool to like bring everyone in and just see like how many people like need community. That's all what it's about. It's like, you're not going to set a PR at Run Club. I mean, if you do, congrats. I don't really care. But like seeing how many people like just like push themselves and running can be so intimidating. Like I'm naturally not a runner.
Me either. Meet the girl.
So I'm not built like a runner.
No.
Nothing. And so, yeah, it's been cool, like, seeing people who I would, like, literally beg to come to Run Club for a year. And they're like, no, I hate running. And now they're, like, signed up to, like, run a half marathon in October. And just the running community, like, saved my life. And when I was, like, going through my depressed episode, like, that's, like, when I fell in love with running.
Yeah.
And so it's just been so cool to, like, see people who, like, need community too. I think in your 20s, like, we look at, like, our analytics, if that's the word I'm looking for. And from, like, 20 to 34 is the age group that we hit the most. And obviously we have people above that come and below that, but that's, like, our biggest age gap, like, our biggest age group. And all these companies are reaching out to us because they're like, that's the hardest group to reach and, like, to keep consistent. And so it's been cool to, like, see that. And I tell these companies, like, what do you think, like, does that? I'm like, people need community.
Yeah.
And that's, like, the whole idea of Run Club. It's like, hey, like, please come and introduce yourself to me. Like, I literally beg you.
Right.
So I might, like, take forever to respond to you, but, like, I really will. Like, just call me. If you really need me, call me.
Yeah.
Like, I will answer the phone. But yeah. And so, or just stop by my apartment. I'm always there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love it. It's the best. We're working with, like, a lot of different companies doing amazing things. And even, like, this past Monday we didn't run. We did, like, we cooked burgers.
Yeah. I came down. I dropped off some food.
You're the most amazing person. Thank you.
Well, it's the least we could do. Literally.
Your roommate came down. She was like, are you still meeting with Grace tomorrow? I was like, I think so.
Oh my God, yes. She told me about that. Yeah, she's a journalist for the Greenville News, so she was down there.
I know, she's so cute. I like, when people, like, this is one thing, when people interview me for the news, I will say the most unhinged things. And they have their phone there, and I forget that it's recording.
Yeah.
And I'm, like, just yapping about the most random stuff. And I'm like, they got all of that. Like, I could ruin my own life. And so...
Can you not quote me on that?
Yes. I'm like, actually, can we start over? Can you delete that, please? But yeah, Run Club's are the best. We're wanting to plan a marathon in Greenville. Yeah, which I will literally bawl my eyes out all day, probably. And so it'll be really cool. So I'm running another marathon in, oh my God, literally in, like, 20 days, which is so
Really?
wild.
Where?
Dublin, Ireland. I know.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
I'm so excited. Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. Okay. I haven't even told my bosses that I'm leaving, so unfortunately I'm booked. Yeah, so, and I got a ticket.
Actually, I'm not gonna be here.
Yeah, don't even know what you want me to do, but I want to be here.
Okay, it'll be your second marathon. Yeah. Oh, girl, both my half marathons I've finished, and I'm like, I'm never running a full marathon, but if it was in Ireland, I would run it, and if it's a Run Club marathon, I suppose. Tie my shoes, I'll be there.
Seems my point exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I literally we were like met with the city one day, because it's been tough. But and they're like, "What is your end goal?" I was like, "I want to shut this city down and run a marathon." And they just, like, looked at me. I was like, "I'm being serious." Yeah. And it's been Dane Simmons from Running, phenomenal human being. I remember one day he was, like, on the phone with me and he was like, "Ash, like, one great thing about you and Jake is, like, you're not going to take no for an answer." I don't like rules. Like, I like them if they make sense, but if they don't make sense to me, then I will question them and be like, but why? Yeah. Like, and if you can't give me an answer, it's like, okay, this needs to be
right.
changed.
I'm going to do it my way.
Yeah. So I'm like, sometimes rules need to be, like, switched up a little bit.
You
like,
got to break the rules.
Exactly. And so, and, like, as time progresses, like, things change. And so he was like, I love working with y'all because you're not going to take no for an answer and you're going to figure it out. And I'm like, yeah. And that's all. Jake and I work so well together. It's like, I'm all over the place. And that's why I wish he was here, because our interaction together is literally the funniest thing.
We'll have to bring him back and have both of you on.
I'm like, Jake, I think we overwhelm people, but, or I overwhelm him. And so it's great working with him because, like, for example, the drive event that we did. Yes. Loved it. It was so much fun. But we're, like, working on that, and I'm, like, over here, like, working on 15 other things. Yeah. And I'm, like, sending it to Jake, and Jake's like, Ash, you know, we have this huge thing. And I'm like, yeah, but, like, also all these. He's like, okay. So I will be the person that goes and reach out to all these people, or, like, they reach out to me or whatever, and, like, get it all starting. And then I'm like, here, Jake, because I like trust him. Like I know he'll get it to the end.
Yeah.
With me.
Yeah.
But it's like starting it and like seeing him like then facilitate it all to get it to like where it comes. So it's so cool. But yeah, I literally love Run Club. I want to tattoo I Heart Run Club.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Or something. I don't know. Probably not that, but yeah, it's been sweet. How have you liked it?
Oh, I love it. I do. It's been so cool getting like all of my friends to come out because it was just me and my roommate at first. And it was kind of like, hey, dude, I've seen this and I want to go and like you're coming with me. And then it was like telling all my other friends because same thing. It's so hard at this age to find time to see your friends
So hard
during the week. And I was like, I haven't seen these girls in like a month. I live right down the road from them, but I'm so freaking busy. I'm like, what can we all do to find a time during the week? So I was like, you guys have to come to this. I don't care if you don't run or not. It's like so welcoming. You do not have to go fast. Like I will run I'm such a slow runner.
Same.
And I don't care. I'm like, if I'm going to run, I'm going to enjoy it.
Same.
I'm not going to be dying. But no, it's been so cool to see it grow and to meet so many cool people.
Oh my God, the people in Greenville are phenomenal.
Yes.
I love them.
And they're so welcoming. Like, especially being a personal trainer and being in that space for so long, I have seen that like aspect of fitness be so intimidating to so many people. And like when I started, I was terrified. But being able to do something active and move your body in a place that's welcoming is a game changer for so many people.
Oh, for sure.
Because it's like that, you know, you walk into a gym and you don't feel welcome, you're not going back. Most people don't.
Yeah.
So having somewhere to go where it's like, okay, you know, all these people accept me, and seeing like, even like you said, your one friend couldn't run a mile, now she can run 3, like seeing my friends be able to do that and like convincing them to run half marathons with us, hopefully soon. Like,
No,
that's
absolutely.
so exciting.
How many people have signed up for the Greenville Half is insane because of Run Club.
Oh shoot, I should probably sign up for that pretty soon.
Then you should. I think we have a discount code.
Okay.
Let me find it.
We ran it last year. It was really fun.
Yeah, it is a fun one. And it's like, it's not easy, but it's an easier
It's on
course.
the trail the
it's
whole
on the,
time.
yeah, it's
and
on the trail.
Like
It's pretty
slightly
flat.
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
No hills.
Which is
fantastic.
Thank God.
Oh my God. Yeah. My roommate and her brother ran the 10K in August.
In Greenville?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. But it was like during our heat wave when it was like really humid and it was all hilly. It was back on like East Ferris and Cleveland Street.
Oh no.
And we woke up that morning. I was like, I've never been happier to not run a race. I will cheer you on at the finish line.
Oh, Greenville is so hilly. I ran when we were training for a marathon last year. I was like, if I run the trail one more time, I'm gonna throw up. I'm like, I can't look at the trail for it. I need a week off.
Yeah.
And so I was like, let's run around like East North, Augusta, Pleasantburg. Oh my God. We got done with 13 miles. I was like, that was the hardest 13 miles I've ever ran in my entire life. And we looked at our Strava and it literally was like up and down, up and down. It was horrible.
Hell no.
I was like, actually, I think I love the trail again. So
Actually, take me back there.
so I'm like, actually, that's my safe place.
Good.
So,
That's so exciting.
that makes me so happy that you love it though.
Yeah.
Like hearing people say that, I'm like, this is amazing. People are like, how are you gonna do it during the winter? I was like, I don't know, but we're gonna figure it out. So
Are you planning on keeping it throughout the winter? Okay.
I'm like, everyone is required to wear a headlamp or like a light or something. I'm
Yeah.
like, please, guys,
My dad has given me these like snap-on like bracelets and anklets that are like reflective because
Wait,
he's
I
so
love.
paranoid. He would like rather me run with them at all times than like just at night. But if you guys don't have something to wear, they like snap on like those like snap it bracelets from when we were like 10.
I need to create on Amazon. I think I just actually put my lip on this.
That's all right. We're not formal. This podcast is the fanciest thing I've ever
I'm
seen
like,
in
sorry
my
if
life.
my lipstick's on here. But yeah, I think I need to create an Amazon storefront
Probably.
that y'all start ordering because our first run then when the time change, which is like probably next week. So I'm not prepared for this yet, but we're gonna do a glow run. I know, not next week, but probably in a couple weeks. We're gonna do a glow run and it's gonna be sick. I'm so excited, and that's gonna be everyone's gonna get glow sticks, and we're gonna do our normal course or like a different course. Maybe just like laps around Unity or something. I have no idea, but it'll be really fun.
Yeah. Well, okay, so you're just at the beginning of 26.
Yeah.
Do you have like kind of your sights set out for something in 26, or what's kind of your mentality with this year?
Yeah, I was actually every year I always ask for like a word. I'm like, what's a word that like I want for New Year's? I usually do it, and for my birthday. And this year I was like, I've loved the last couple of years of my life. Like they have been so amazing. Like I'm very thankful. I've loved them, and so I was like, I honestly just like wanted to please just keep going up.
Yeah,
Like, just keep going upward. But the one thing that I was like, I want to change is I hate that I'm busy. I hate that word.
Yeah.
I hate the word busy so much because busy to me has like such a bad connotation.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel like I don't have time for people. And when people tell me like, oh, you're just too busy for me, or like, oh, you're just too busy, or you're always busy. I'm like, that is like kind of passive aggressive, and like it's like gonna dag at me of like, oh, you don't have time for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I literally would do anything. And so I would somehow make it work, I promise.
Yeah.
But so I was like, that is the one thing I want to change. It's like, no, I live a very full life. Like my schedule's full today, or I can't do this week because like I'm full. And because I was like, oh, no, I'm not too busy for you. I just am, this week is too full for you to put anything else in there.
Yeah.
And so just like changing that mentality of like, okay, like I do better under pressure when I'm like slow in life, when work, social, anything, I like get antsy. Like I have to like stay like packed, and like I operate well in that, and some people don't, and that's great. I don't operate well when I'm like have nothing to do,
Right.
and so I'm like, no, please give me something to do. And so just like being confident in that of like, hey, like, no, I'm not too busy for people. Like my schedule is full and booked, but also like I will make time for the people around me, and the things in my life. And so just like change my mentality on that. So it doesn't make me feel guilty.
Right.
I don't really care how it makes the other person feel, because it's like, listen,
Right.
I do have time for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like making myself like not feel guilty, and just the self-talk.
Yeah.
So
I love
26.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think it's so important to know that your perspective is one of the most important things in terms of like how your life plays out. Like just changing those simple things like busy to full, and like switching it from like more of a negative connotation to a positive connotation is one of the most important things I've ever learned. And it's changed my outlook on so many things. Cause at the end of the day, like we have a choice. How we perceive our life and how we live our life, like that's up to us.
Yeah.
And so many people, I feel like, kind of fall into that like rat race, and then they get like the victim mentality, and it's hard once you're in there to kind of snap out of it. But even just those small changes, I think, are like make incredible impact on your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
So,
No, I agree. It just like goes back to like knowing yourself, and like when you speak highly about yourself, and like when you know the words that trigger you, don't use them. Like, let's pick some other ones. There's a big vocabulary. And so it's like, just figuring that out, because it's just important. And like having confidence in yourself, and it's okay to have a slow life or have a busy life. Yeah. Like that's fine. Yeah. And like you don't have to feel guilty about it. So I think like that is like something I've learned of like, don't feel guilty for like taking this season for yourself. I think people, and I probably used to do this too, of like, oh, well, they're doing this. Like you're focusing so much time on yourself. It's like, this is the only season of my life that I'll have for myself. Yeah. And it's so important. So like go and do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please.
It's so cliche, but like you have to fill your cup before you can fill others, or you have to put your own oxygen mask on before somebody else's. And like, if you are not feeling like your best self, how are you supposed to help somebody else feel like their best self?
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think you can love people well if you don't love yourself. So
I totally agree.
Yeah, that's kind of it.
I wanted to finish off, you kind of touched on confidence a little bit, and I wanted us to kind of wrap up there, because you do come off as such a confident person. And a lot of people, especially women our age, struggle in that area. So I guess if you had to give like a piece of advice or something that really helped you be more confident in yourself, what would you kind of tell people that are in that area that are struggling?
Yeah, I would just say like, I have not always been the most confident person. And even now there's some days where I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then I think just like, don't take life too serious. Like, don't care what people think. Do it. If you love it, do it. Who freaking cares? Like, who cares? And so, like, when people, even at Run Club, when people try and give me their input, I'm like, okay, like, I love this. I don't care.
Right.
And so I think just like owning what you do, like, and people will follow that. And so, and it's just like, it's been so sweet of like me like stepping into that of like, no, like I love this version of myself, and like my friends like rallying around that of like, we love it too. Like, I don't know. It's just been cool. So it's like, find out who you are and like, just don't be like nervous to start anything. Some people come to me and they're like, I'm so nervous to start this. I'm like, just do it. Who cares if it fails? Like, I did not start Run Club for it to be this big thing. I started it because I loved it. Right. And I was like, I don't care if one person shows up. I'm still going to be out here on the trail on Monday night at 6:45, like begging strangers to come and hang out with me. And so, yeah, I think it's just do what you love and like, don't be nervous. If like no one ever watches it, no one ever comes to it, no one ever pays attention or like compliments it, do it. Yeah. And like just, it's like getting over that fear of man and just like going with it. And so now it's like, it's been so cool of like, even just, it's sweet feeling confident and things of like, oh no, I am confident. It's like, I am good at this. I am whatever. And like changing like how you speak to yourself, like writing words of affirmation. And I remember one other thing when I turned 26 is I was like, okay, Ash, I have done a lot of stuff. And so I'm like 21, 22, you're still figuring things out, even 23, 24. But I was like 25, some things that I did, if it was with like financial decisions or boys or whatever, it was like, Ashley, be for real. Like, you know, like you probably shouldn't have done some things. And so it's like, I remember like when I was with some of my girlfriends on 26, I was like, I'm at the age where it's like, I know consequences happen. And so it's like, if I know that this feeling is going to follow this decision, why the hell would I do that? Right. Like, I'm an adult. Like, I need to start like understanding that of like, hey, like, how did this make you feel last time you did it? Let's not do that again. You know, like it's not worth it. Yeah. It's not worth it. And so just like being confident in that of like, hey, no, I'm going to like know myself well enough to like have these standards and whatever that looks like. And so, yeah, I just love who you are. Just freaking do it. Yeah. Do whatever you want. Like if it's go live in Europe for a year, freaking do it. Yeah. Like, if it's to start a podcast, like amazing, do it. If it's to start another run club, do it. Like, I don't know, just anything, just do what you love. And I think like, I thought, so a lot of my friends are influencers, and I remember when I dated that boy. Oh no. Are we still on?
I think we're still recording.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Light went out.
Okay. Is it like censored? I'm like trying to
I haven't had power for 6 days, so I'm used to the darkness.
But I remember like I dated that guy and I wanted to be an influencer so bad. I was like, oh my God, I love fashion, blah, blah, blah. And it just like never clicked. Yeah. And then the one time in my life where I was like, I'm just going to run to meet strangers, it like has blown up and it's been like so cool, and not to an influencer in any degree, but it's just like, oh, like this has been really sweet of like, I just did something that I loved and like, it has like brought a community together. And so that's my biggest advice. Yeah. Just do what you love. Who freaking cares what people think and their opinions? Everyone has an opinion about everything. And so yes, they do. Just do it. Like, you're not going to regret it. You're going to regret not doing it.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
So.
Good way to wrap it up there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, plug Run Club, plug yourself.
Thanks. You said what?
Like plug your, like, where can we follow Run Club?
I might plug.
Sorry.
My Run Club Instagram is oh God, Run Club Chivo, I think. Look for the big smiley face.
Yeah.
That's my logo. I'm a happy person, so I created that thing. Love it. Look for the big smiley face. And then my personal, I'm tagged in Run Club.
Yeah.
It's Ashley Pearson.
Yeah.
Or Ashley M. Pearson. I have no idea, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, where can I find this?
This will be on the 20-something podcast Instagram,
Cannot wait.
well as my Instagram. And then we are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
No freaking way. No, I'm going to listen to this in the car.
So excited.
I'm going to play it at Rub Club.
Bring
Oh my
out the
gosh, we're
speakers.
literally having a day where we listen.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, this is so fun. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks. I want to know more about you.
Okay.
What time is it? I think I have to go to work. Bye.
Yeah.